3D Haunted House Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hi everyone! In today's video I'm going to be continuing my Halloween series, and this one is going to be a haunted house. This was one of the earlier designs I did this year for Halloween, and so it's been a while. I started this one, I probably made this one in July. I make Halloween stuff so far in advance, it's just, I love Halloween. But this one, it looks like just a haunted house, but then you can open up the door, and inside the door there's a little ghosty that's in there, and it's relatively easy for one of these crazy 4D designs, but it's just kind of cute, and I had so much fun making it, so I hope you like it, and don't forget to click subscribe to see my future videos as well. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is creating the window in my haunted house with a square of black acrylic. So I'm going to start with, like I said, a square. And you want to make sure that the edges of your square have a nice ledge to them. You don't want them to sort of just smoothly go out to the nail. You want them to have nice sharp edges. So if you need to, you can add a second coat to that, or you can file the edges. That also works. I thought after I had the second coat on there that they look pretty good, and I let that be at that. And now with gray, I'm going to be sculpting the rest of my house, leaving the door space or the doorway without acrylic. And so I'm going to add the peak of the roof, and so that little window is probably in the attic. And then I'm going to take more acrylic and carry that down. And with this haunted house, you could use any color scheme you like. I was feeling purpley today. This is the same day that I made this. I also made the little bat video that I uploaded recently. So I was feeling like purple. I use purple quite a bit. I love purple. Anyways, so I decided that gray and purple go very well together, and I would go with that color scheme. So I made my house gray. However, being that this is Halloween, your house could be green or orange. Those are pretty Halloween-y colors. Or red even. You can feel free to go however color scheme you like. So then as I'm doing here, I'm going to be leaving my doorway. And so I'm just going to add the little ledges on the sides for around the door, but leave the actual place where the door is going to be acrylicless. And now I'm going to be adding blue for the sky behind my haunted house. And this house is actually haunted. I mean, the one in the video. I don't think my own house is haunted. I don't know, maybe. Anyways, this is haunted because there's a little ghost that's behind the door when you open it up. So it's not just like a haunted house like any scary house. It's actually a haunted house. And now I'm going to be filing away the acrylic that went over my window. So I just took my e-file and just zipped off all that excess and smoothed out the surface of the house in general as well. And now I'm going to be encasing this nail with a layer of clear acrylic, once again avoiding the doorway. I didn't ever put any acrylic in the doorway, and that is optional. If you are actually wearing this and you want to be nice and strong, then you might want to put a thin layer of clear acrylic in there, but you don't want too much where the door can't close, if that makes any sense. The door does stick up a little bit no matter what, but if you want it to fit nicely, I would probably try to leave an indent there at least. Or otherwise, if you're not using a tip, if you're doing a sculpted nail from the get-go with forms, then you would just want to do the whole nail with a layer of clear to give it that strength, and especially in the doorway. And now I'm going to be adding my roof. So the first thing I'm going to do for it is I'm going to create two sides, and I'm going to add two long rectangles. And so I'm going to take a nail form backing, and I'm just going to lay the acrylic down on there and then pat it out into that shape. Let that set until it starts to harden and turn matte, and then you can pick it up with your brush and set it into place and hold it on for a second. Make sure it's all right in the same spot, and then repeat it for the other side. And if these are too long, you can always, once you get them in place, you can trim them with a little manicure scissors, or you can file them if it's just a little bit too long. I'd probably go with a file. If it's a lot too long, then I would probably go with the manicure scissors, just because that would be a lot of filing. But now I'm going to be filling in the gap between the roof and the house with some clear acrylic and some black acrylic. I'm mostly using clear. If there's any bigger gaps, though, you might want to switch to black just so that you can't see through it, because generally speaking, you can't see between a roof and its house, or a house and its roof. I guess it can go either way. So use acrylic that's either clear or black depending on what you think it needs. Clear is going to be stronger and it's going to hold a little better, so something to keep in mind. But now I'm going to be adding the shutters around the attic window with some lavender. place down a rectangle, then using my brush, I'm just going to add the little slots or slats. I'm having a lot of things today where it can use two different words and I can't stop myself from saying both. Anyways, add the other shutter on the other side, create the little indents with the tip of your brush. And now I'm going to be sculpting my door. So I'm using the same color of acrylic, and I'm going to be adding the door in the same shape, which isn't a rectangle. It's got a little bit of a Seussical look to it. And so it's thicker at the top of it and thinner towards the bottom of the door, which kind of goes along with the slightly coffin shape of this nail. And so I'm just gonna sculpt that to, as I'm looking at the nail next to it, what I think is the right size. This is a complete approximation. It's not perfect. It doesn't really need to be. It's just close. So then I'm going to take some nail glue and I'm going to take a piece of wire that's bent with 2 beads on it, and I'm going to set that right up against the very edge of the door jamb and then hold that in place until the glue is set. I have issues with glue, so as you can see, this wasn't like a one-shot thing. It took a couple tries to get that to actually sit properly, and make sure that you don't glue your beads, that they stay loose. And then I'm going to add just a little bit more acrylic around the bases of the wire to reinforce the hold. That nail glue is really a temporary thing, and so you want to add some acrylic around it to make sure that everything stays where it should be. Put a couple drops of nail glue onto your beads and then glue your door onto them like so. Once that is set, I'm going to be filling in my door with black paint. This black paint is going to stay very thin so that you're not going to, like I said, thicken up that doorway so that there isn't an indent. And I don't know if I recorded this part, I don't know what happened there, but you also want to reinforce the hold between your beads and the door. So make sure that you add some clear acrylic on there too, just to make sure. And then with a brush that is dipped half into black acrylic and then just the other half is just damp with water, you're going to do sort of a one stroke that's only got partial paint on it. And this is going to create the shingles on the house really quick and really easy. So you can just do that and it'll automatically do what you need to do there. And then I'm going to add a little moon in the background behind the haunted house. And then some white highlights on the shutters. And then a ghosty inside the door. And then I'm going to add his eyes, so just with black, add 2 eyes and a mouth. The eye's a little bit bigger than the mouth, and then you can highlight. I'm going to highlight the roof and the shingles a little bit in the center with some diluted white. Add a silver little bead of acrylic on the door for a handle, and then apply gel top coat or gel sealer over the background, over the window, and over the door. And one thing you could do if you wanted to take this and make it a little more creepy is instead of making a cute ghost, you can make like a really creepy haunted face in there. That would definitely increase the spookiness. And then I applied matte top coat over the rest of the house, so over the shutters, roof, inside the door, and all that. And once it's done, you are all set. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this video. Please share any recreations with me on Facebook and Instagram. I'd love to see how they turn out and all your adorable little ghosts. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!